Hello.
I promise you'll like what you see.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Carvenus 14. Now today we are back again with another Arlecchino video. Yesterday was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. Yesterday I managed to publish a constellation video comparing C1 Arlecchino, C0, C1, C2 and C3 Arlecchino basically stacked together. Now some of you may have found the video actually quite helpful. If you haven't watched it yet, do go check it out. Do keep in mind that it is the bare minimum Arlecchino build. Like, I'm saying white tassel at R1, not at R5, at R1, level 70 Arlecchino, basically hardly any crit damage at like 169%, but it was basically a very minimal baseline for you guys, because obviously, with percentage values, the more damage the more, the higher the number, the more the percentages will affect it, right? So, looking at those low numbers, right, will mean that, okay, if these numbers were bigger, then these constellations would prove even more value. So, basically basically helping you guys if you want to actually pull for it or not. So, yeah. Anyway, today we've got a different type of video, right? I mean, obviously, it's a test video. It's like a build showcase video. It's not really a build showcase. It's more of a team showcase video. Now, as you can probably tell, this is the team that I'm currently running, all right? Well, I'm not running this team. My main team is actually this team. It's a mono pyro team, right? But this team is a team that I've actually wanted to try out for a bit, actually. Like, I only really figured this out at the end of yesterday when I was actually, when I actually uploaded that video. I was like, hold on. These characters share something. Why don't I do something with it? So, yeah, if you guys haven't managed to catch the gist of it yet, this team is full of goth girls, right? Arlecchino is safe to say Arlecchino is a goth girl, let's be honest. Rosaria's a goth girl, Fischl is also a goth girl, and Xinyan is also a goth girl. I mean, just look at all of them, right? They literally tick all the boxes for goth girls. So, basically, the discussion for today's video is, can a goth girl team actually be viable in Genshin Impact? And, of course, these are, as far as I can tell, these are the only 4 goth girl style characters in the game. But we're going to see if they actually work that well or not. Now, we're going to go over them and see the build for them. Be warned, some of the builds are very scuffed, but we're gonna see if this works or not. Alright, so we got Arlecchino, our main DPS. This is her stat split right now, guys. I did manage to get her to level 90 since yesterday's video. 79.2% crit rate, 218.2% crit damage. As for what weapon I'm running on her, I'm running the Crimson Moon Semblance. This weapon is at level 80 out of 80. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to actually get the materials required for it yet. Still need, I can't really do this until tomorrow, so I'll be doing that. As for Arlecchino's artifacts, I haven't actually farmed a good enough set of Fragment of Whimsy yet, so I'm literally sticking with this artifact set right now. 2-piece Marechaussee Hunter, 2-piece Shimonel's Reminiscence. So, yeah, I mean, I do have a flower, but that's like, yeah, and the flower has 20.2% crit damage, so a little bit less crit damage without any crit rate, so, yeah, I was kind of hoping if I get lucky. It's still a decent flower, I might end up using it, but we'll have to see, really. So this is the actual Marechaussee Hunter flower I'm going for here, guys. This is that's the wrong one. This is the feather which we're going for, Shimonel's Reminiscence. This is the timepiece that we're going for. This is the goblet that we're going for. It's an attack percent goblet because I don't actually have a good pyro damage bonus goblet. And with my normal team, I'm running so much pyro damage bonus. I'm getting so much external sources of pyro damage bonus that it's like, I'll find more worth from attack, so that's kind of why. And then for the helmet, we're going with this helmet, so Marechaussee Hunter crit helmet. Now, in terms of constellations, my Arlecchino is at C3, so do keep that in mind. If you kind of want to replicate this team, your damage won't be as high as my Arlecchino, but it is still there. And in terms of talents, I did a little bit of work yesterday, a little bit of work. So before I was level 6 all the way, now with C3 activated, I'm at level 10, effectively level 7, level 6, and level 7 burst as well. So that's the Arlecchino build right there. This is the Rosaria build, guys. So Rosaria is level 60 out of 70 because I like leaving my supports here, mainly because, you know, the way I use my supports is to kind of funnel my DPS rather than actually focusing on their own damage, which would be more damaging for the actual team, definitely, but that is in a meta environment, and it's also more energy consuming, and for like an actual, from a resource point of view. So I decide not to do that. Besides, I'm not really into the meta, to be honest. I'm all about fun. And yes, more damage equals more fun, but I'd like to keep my sanity, if you don't mind. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, not Arlecchino. Rosaria's running the white tassel, and why the white tassel? We'll get onto that. Rosaria, if you didn't know, guys, has a passive talent, one of the best passive talents, underrated passive talents in the game, in my opinion, where she will give 15% of her current crit rate to everyone in the party, basically. Rosaria, as far as I know, is the only character in the entire game that can actually give crit rate to everyone in the party. She's the only unit, as far as I can tell. I don't know if there's any units coming out in the future, or if there are any newer units that actually do this, but as far as I know, Rosaria is the only character in the game that can give crit rate to absolutely everyone in the party, except herself, obviously, but, yeah. It's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. Like, the fact that Rosaria can just give crit rate is insane. She can give up to 15% of this, right? Yeah. Now, my Rosaria is at... How much is she at? 69.6% crit rate, okay? Yeah, 69.6% crit rate. Energy recharge is quite high. The crit damage is obviously low, but like I said, I don't really care about support damage, so, yeah. Now, as for what set we're running on her, we are running the Noblesse Oblige, because after she uses her burst, which is kind of how you want to use Rosaria anyway, you want to use her elemental skill and then her elemental burst, because her elemental skill also has a passive, an unlockable passive, which gives her 12% increased crit rate. Yeah. So, yeah, and then I should probably take a look at show you guys the actual set piece as well. So we've got crit rate here, we've got crit damage here, we've gone for energy recharge here, no crit, unfortunately, but we've got cryo damage bonus here, and we've got, more crit rate as well, and we've got crit rate headpiece here. Right, Constellation, she's at C2, which is actually quite good because it increases her burst by 4 seconds, which is actually really nice because it just means that the crit rate boost is out there for longer, I believe. In fact, let me actually check if the casting rights of termination increases crit rate of all nearby party members by 15% for 10 seconds. Okay. Yeah, so it is for 10 seconds, which isn't actually that bad. And if your Arlecchino is very, very strong and high investment, you can actually just one-tap a lot of most enemies in about 10 seconds. Like, that's just how strong she is. So, yeah, and Rosaria does increase her own crit rate by 12% for about 5 seconds after she uses her elemental skill. This is why you want to use her elemental skill and then use her burst. The only drawback to this is that she has to teleport behind the opponent. If the opponent's too big, she doesn't get this crit rate boost, which is a shame. But, it is what it is. So that's the Rosaria. This is the Fischl. Now, the Fischl's build is definitely interesting. You guys will probably be quite annoyed when you see it, but let me cook. All right. Shut up, Fischl. Stop it. Go away. No. All right. Anyway. This is her... Yes. This is her damage. It's not very high, like I said. I don't care. Now, energy recharge, 213%. Now, I know what you're thinking. What could you possibly do to Fischl to make her any good for this team? Well, you see, Fischl can use Tenacity of the Millilith quite well. Do people say build Tenacity of the Millilith? It's viable, but should you do it? Absolutely not. It's stupid. Like, why would you do it? You can easily go Thundering Fury 2-piece or Shimenao's 2-piece, or you could go Golden Troop, for crying out loud, and it would actually be better on Fischl. You'd get so much more value out of her. But like I said, I'm building Fischl to funnel all the damage I can possibly to Arlecchino. Yes, she deals damage. Can she deal more damage? You can never have too much damage, alright? You never can, alright? So, these are the sets that we're going for. Now, listen, alright? This set is scuffed, I will have to admit, mainly because, I'm using this directly off of Zhongli, right? So, yeah, there's that. But I'm using this directly off of Zhongli. But we needed to get some form of crit rate going on. So, yeah. These are the actual pieces. Energy recharge, HP percent. Like I said, this is directly off of Zhongli, all right? And this is also crit rate. So, yeah. Constellations, my Chevrus, Cloran, friggin' what's her name? Fischl. Yeah, my Fischl is C4. There is... Yeah, her C1, but Oz is always going to be out on the field anyway, so it doesn't really do anything. Her C... To be fair, none of her constellations really do anything to buff your units, right? Apart from her C6. That's the only thing, but I don't have her C6. As for talents, she's level 9 and level 6. So, like, level 6, basically. So, yeah. As for Jin Yan, what is Jin Yan doing in this team, other than being another goth girl? Number 1... Pyro, which means I have the Pyro Resonance, which basically increases my attack by 25%. Number 2, she has a shield, alright? Xinyan can create a shield, right, which is, it's not bad, but it's not amazing. Like, it's actually as far as I remember, Jin Yan's shield was one of the weaker shields in the game. The thing is, as long as you still dodge, right, you can actually save your shield a lot longer. So basically, Jin Yan's shield is only really there if you mistime your dodge, or if you genuinely can't dodge an attack, like, properly, basically. Yeah. So, yeah, but if you can carry on, you know... dodging decently well, then Jin Yan's shield is actually pretty good. Now, Jin Yan's shield literally does nothing else other than protect her and give Arlecchino physical damage, but if you run physical damage Arlecchino, you will be on NASA's hit list for alien life termination, provided they get here. Of course, that's for another video, and I'm also not an American, so I don't know the gists of how far they've gotten with that. But, we move. In terms of constellations, I have her C1. Her C2 would be even better, because it guarantees her, what's it called? Her level 3 shield all the time, because with with Jin Yan's passive, it basically reduces the requirement of enemies hit by 1. Right, which means you get a stronger level shield, you know, much better. It's more convenient, effectively. In terms of artifacts, I am using 2-piece Defender's Will, 2-piece Husk of Opulent Dreams. And the reason I'm doing that is because there isn't really an amazing set for Jin Yan to use, right? The only real way you would use... The only other good set that you could use on Jin Yan is, like, Bloodstained Chivalry and Pale Flame for the physical damage. She doesn't really have a good support set, unfortunately. Yeah, because she doesn't do a lot of pyro damage, and she's not really used in reaction teams. She's mainly used in physical teams, to boost physical damage and stuff like that, basically. So, yeah. In fact, fun fact about Jin Yan, guys. If you didn't know, Jin Yan and Eula, I think, are the only 2 units in the entire game that has a burst that does physical damage, if I'm actually thinking properly off the top of my head. Yeah, but anyway, guys, we're just going for a full defense build here, because we want Jin Yan's shield to last as long as possible, so that Arlecchino doesn't take damage, right? Yeah, now, basically just go all in on defense, literally care about absolutely nothing else, effectively, and, yeah, that's basically it. So, that's the team, guys. This is the most scuffed team you will probably ever see anyone run on Arlecchino, and, if somehow you manage to do even worse than that, well done, I guess. Yeah. What? Did anyone, okay, Rosaria just Arlecchino for a second there. But anyway, we're going to go to Masanori. And then we're gonna whoop him up, is what we're going to do. So, basically, guys, if we do the math correctly, Rosaria's crit rate should go up from 69%, well, basically 70%. 70% plus 12 is 82, so, yeah, about 81 point, what? Yeah, 81.6%. Right, 81.6% crit rate. 15% of that. Well, let's see. 10% of 80 is 8. 5% of 8 is 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12. About 12.7. 12.7. I'm going to estimate around 12.7 extra crit rate to Arlecchino off the top of my head, which means that Arlecchino's crit rate should go up to 12.7 if we're going to, well, 7, yeah, that's like what? 80, that's 92 minus 1. That's, yeah, 80, yeah, sorry. So 12, yeah, 80 plus 12 is 92. Minus 1, that's 91.2. Plus the 7, so 91.9? Yeah, 91.9. Why did it take me so long to calculate? I'm so silly. Anyway, 91.9% crit rate, guys. That's effectively the value. Estimation, right? An estimation. That's how much crit rate we should have with 218% crit damage. That's pretty good. That's a really good crit rate ratio. But anyway, we need to get Rosaria's burst up. So that's what we're going to do. Damn, the side profile. Sorry, moving on. Where did my guy go? There he is.
Yes! Feel the beat. By royal decree. You can't run.
Okay, her shield just dipped straight away. Anyway, official. I screwed it over. Oh well.
Transfixed.
Okay, the damage isn't actually that bad, to be fair. The damage isn't actually that bad.
Reveal bite. You can't run. Power core.
I screwed the rotation up there, that's fine. Okay, yeah, so on top of all of this melt damage you're doing, you're also doing overload as well. But I want to try that again, guys. I definitely want to try that again, because that definitely could have been a lot better, honestly. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do that again. This time we're actually going to properly take a look at this fight.
By royal decree, pyrotechnics.
Okay.
Judgment. Light out. Overruled.
Okay, wow. Okay, so much stronger, so much better. What the hell?
Witness my rise. Transfixed.
Okay, yeah, you saw there, guys, that Arlecchino was hitting for like 55,000, right? Of course, this really is pretty heavily dependent on the fact that my Arlecchino is C3. My artifacts are in a really good position, right? And I also have her signature weapon. But honestly, how ridiculous is this build, would I say?
Go on.
It's interesting, definitely, because on top of overloading, you're also melting, and you're also you're protected through Xinyan's shield, provided you can dodge properly, right? If you have C1, this definitely makes this build a lot easier because of the interruption resistance you get. Also, I don't know if you guys actually know, but Arlecchino kind of refuses to take damage after C2 because of the way that her C2 works. Well, she doesn't refuse to take damage, she just takes a lot less of it, but basically Arlecchino's C2 makes it so that after she does a charged attack, right, or basically after she absorbs a blood debt due at C2, she also gets her elemental resistance and her physical resistance increased by 20%. Yeah, that's basically on top of her own passive that gives her that resistance as well. This one. Yeah, so effectively if you have more than 3,000 attack, you basically get 40% resistance for like 15 seconds. Yeah. Which is absolutely insane. So you take a lot less damage with C2 activated on Arlecchino as well, right? Kind of ridiculous, I know. Of course, this Arlecchino is definitely not properly built. I mean, I say not properly built. The stats are pretty insane. But one more time, guys, what we are going to do is we're actually going to check the crit rate properly. We're actually going to check the crit rate properly and see how it goes. What? Oh, for God's sake. Oh, right, well, we'll do this again. Once again, Masanori has... There we go.
You can't run. Shiver.
Can I check the thing? There we go. Oh my god. So how much crit... Yeah, 91.4. That's actually a pretty damn good estimation. 91.4% crit rate, right? How much attack are we looking at as well? Yeah, with Oz out, 2,935. That means the damage resist we're getting is 19.4, right? That's very damn close. And then once we, now if we go to her thing, yeah, 39.4, look right there, 39.4% resistance right there. Of course, the crit rate has run out, right? Yeah, but still, that's pretty damn insane.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Silly. Yeah, this team is actually quite ridiculous, I'm gonna be honest. Because you're melting on top of the fact that, yeah, you're melting on top of overloading, right? You're doing so much at the exact same time. The numbers are pretty ridiculous, right? Now, is an EM weapon... Is an EM... What's it called? Is an EM timepiece better than this? Actually, that's a good question. Is an EM... Do I even have an EM artifact set, though? I mean, you know, main stat. Do I? No. See if I got... What is it? Shinal's Reminiscence confirm. I don't have an EM Sands. That's actually kind of annoying. Yeah, I can't really test that, guys, unfortunately. An EM Sands might actually be better with this team here, because you're doing a lot of reactions. You're overloading, you're melting. Melt, does it scale off of EM? I actually can't remember. I don't think Melt scales off of EM, actually. Yeah, Melt is a multiplicative reaction, so I don't think it scales off of EM. It might do, actually. It might do. Yeah. Let's just see what EM does. There it is. Elemental Mastery can strengthen the... Increase the damage of vapor... Wait, why does it say 0? Is it because I don't have any Elemental Mastery? I think it's because I don't have any Elemental Mastery. Yeah. Let me just... on an EM... Where's the timepiece? There it is. EM... Sort this out from... And then, yeah, now we'll see. So, yeah, it does actually increase the damage dealt by Melt as well. So, I probably should have seen that coming anyway. Yeah, so, maybe an EM Artifact Sands would actually be good, guys, if you do actually decide to go for this team, right? But remember, attack percent is actually better for Arlecchino compared to Elemental Mastery, at least in general, in my opinion. Of course, if you're going for a reaction-based team, Elemental Mastery is really good. But what I'm trying to say is attack percent gives Arlecchino that innate increase in damage. Her normal attacks are going to be dealing more damage. Her normal attacks are going to be dealing damage scaled off of that. Her constellations also go through attack percent a lot. And ultimately, her passive, which increases her resistance, also does increase her resistance as well, right? Of course, if you're running a shielding unit, this doesn't really matter because you don't need the resistance increase because you have a shielding unit on you, right? So, in that regard, I guess if you are running a shielder and you do have a reaction-based team, going Elemental Mastery, honestly, is so much better than running attack percent, simply because you just do so much more reaction damage, and that's literally the entire point of a Vaporize or a Melt or Overload team, right? Yeah. But this has definitely been very, very productive, I would say. So, is this team viable? The Goth Girl team, is it viable? I would say so. It really is, because number one, all of these units actually synergize so damn well together, right? Because Rosaria is providing crit rate, okay? Rosaria is providing crit rate, and she's also got Noblesse Oblige, which is a really good thing. Fischl is, Tenacity of the Millilith, I guess. If you want to run Tenacity of the Millilith on Fischl, it's a really good source of boosting power. If not, you can be overloading with Fischl as well, and really, really good single target damage. Arlecchino is amazing at AoE damage, and Fischl is also really good at single target and AoE damage, so that just complements her playstyle even more there, right? And then there's Xin Yan, who can provide, pyro resonance, and she can also give her a pretty decent shield as well, right? So, obviously, Fischl running Tenacity of the Millilith might be very, very copium for a lot of people, okay? But the attack increase that you get on Arlecchino does allow her to be a lot more tanky, and her overall damage is even better. Are you better off running Golden Troop, though? Definitely. So, is this team a good team to run? And if you are running Tenacity of the Millilith Fischl, is it actually worthwhile doing? I would say, yeah, it's a pretty good build to try. Now, of course, do keep one thing in mind. This is not a meta video, alright? None of my videos have ever been around meta. I've always been doing, even with my Shenhe videos, I always do these build guide or build showcase videos to show you guys different possibilities, alright? Different types of builds that you can actually run, and different types of teams that you can run that may seem troll, may seem very meme, but are very, very fun, alright? I'm just a casual player, right? Like, at the end of the day, that's what a game is supposed to be for, to allow you to have fun. Now, obviously, if you think this team is not meta, fine. This video was never about the meta in the first place. Is it fun, and is it, cool to watch? Definitely, right? The melts, the overloads, the superconducts occasionally, yeah, but, is this video funny? I mean, is this build funny? Yes, it is. Like, who in their right mind would run Tenacity of the Millilith on Fischl, right? Is this team funny because it's 4 goth girls slaying the entire game? Yes, it is. Like, if you want to run 4 goth girls on your team and make it work, this video is perfect for you, alright? Just, like, for the memes, right? But anyway, guys, that's basically been the video. I have been Carvenus14, and still am, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye.